Right now, sitting in your car, there are buttons you've pressed 100 times that you've never actually understood. And I'm not talking about weird features on expensive cars. I'm talking about buttons on almost every car built in the last 20 years. Buttons that can save your engine from wearing out faster than it should, make your AC feel like a completely different system, and one that could literally save you from being stranded at a gas station. Car companies installed them. Mechanics know about them. But nobody ever told you what they actually do or when to use them. I spent years thinking I knew my car. Then I learned what these buttons actually do, and I felt like I'd been driving a stranger's car the whole time. By the end of this video, you'll open your car door and look at your dashboard differently. Let's start with the one button you probably use wrong every single day. That little button. Car icon. Arrow looping inside it. You've pressed it. You're not totally sure why. You probably leave it on or off and forget about it. Here's the truth. This button is one of the most strategically useful controls in your car, and almost nobody treats it that way. When it's off, your car is pulling fresh air from outside and pushing it through your vents. When it's on, it seals off the outside and keeps recycling the air already inside the cabin. Simple, right? But here's where it gets interesting. In stop-and-go traffic, turning this on means your AC stops fighting the hot, exhaust-filled air from outside. It just keeps cooling the same air. Result? Your cabin chills down noticeably faster, and your engine works less hard, which means slightly better fuel efficiency. But here's the catch nobody warns you about. If you leave it on for too long, especially with multiple passengers, the air gets stale. CO2 levels creep up, and you can start feeling drowsy without realizing why. Professional long-haul drivers switch it on and off deliberately. Hot day in traffic? On. Highway with fresh air? Off. That one habit alone can change how comfortable and alert you feel on long drives. Speaking of buttons that secretly affect your comfort in ways you'd never expect. Most people press max AC and think, okay, colder now. But your car is actually doing 3 things simultaneously the moment you press it. First, it automatically activates air recirculation. It doesn't wait for you to hit that other button. Second, it pushes the compressor to maximum output. Third, it adjusts airflow direction to target the cabin temperature fastest. Engineers designed max AC for one very specific situation. You've parked in direct sunlight for hours, and you open the door to a car that feels like an oven. In that moment, max AC is a rescue mode, designed to drop cabin temperature by 20 to 30 degrees as fast as mechanically possible. But here's what they didn't put in the manual. Running max AC constantly puts more strain on your compressor over time. It's a burst feature, not a daily setting. Use it to blast the heat out when you first get in. Then dial it back once the cabin is comfortable. You'll be cooler and you'll extend your AC system's life. Now let's talk about a button that starts a real debate among car owners. If your car shuts off at a red light and restarts when you lift your foot off the brake, that's the auto start-stop system. The official story. It saves fuel. The full story is more complicated. This system is constantly balancing 3 competing forces: fuel savings, engine wear, and battery health. Here's what car engineers debate internally. In heavy stop-and-go traffic, the constant restart cycle can accelerate wear on the starter motor and put extra strain on the battery, both of which cost money to replace. In very long stops, over 60 seconds, the fuel savings are real and meaningful. In quick city stops, under 20 seconds, the savings are minimal and the wear cost can offset them. That's why experienced drivers in dense urban traffic often disable it manually. But here's the important nuance. On highways with rare long stops, or in cities with long traffic light cycles, keeping it on genuinely extends your fuel range. It's not broken. It's not useless. It's situational. Learn to read your drive and toggle it accordingly. Don't just leave it at the factory default forever. Now here's one that most people never think to touch until the day they desperately need it. The traction control button shows a little car with wavy lines beneath it. Most people see it, know it's a safety feature, and never touch it. That's mostly right. Traction control works by monitoring your wheels. The moment it detects a wheel spinning faster than it should, indicating a slip, it cuts engine power or applies the brakes to that wheel to regain control. In rain, on slick roads, on sharp corners, this is protecting you constantly. But here's the scenario they don't teach you in driver's ed. You're stuck. Sand. Mud. Snow. You need momentum to rock yourself free, and every time you apply throttle, traction control kills the power before you can build any. In that specific situation, traction control is working against you. Off-road drivers and experienced winter drivers know to switch it off, build the momentum they need, break free, and then immediately turn it back on. Used correctly, that button is the difference between being stuck for 10 minutes and being stuck for 2 hours. Most drivers never know it's an option. Now you do. Comfort, sport, eco, normal. If your car has these modes, you've probably pressed them out of curiosity and not thought much about it. Here's what's actually happening. Drive modes don't just change one thing. They simultaneously adjust your steering weight, your throttle response, your transmission shift points, and sometimes even your suspension stiffness. In sport mode, your steering gets heavier on purpose. Engineers want your inputs to feel more precise and deliberate at speed, less accidental corrections, more intentional control. In eco mode, everything softens. The throttle becomes less sensitive, so you naturally drive with a lighter foot. The transmission shifts earlier to keep RPMs low. The system is quietly coaching you toward fuel efficiency without you doing anything. Here's the part that surprises most people. Two drivers in identical cars, one in sport, one in eco, feel like they're driving completely different vehicles. If you've been leaving your car in whatever mode it defaulted to when you bought it, spend 1 week switching modes deliberately. Morning commute in eco. Weekend drive in sport. You'll understand your car at a level most people never reach. We just covered the most common hidden buttons, and you probably learned something about a car you've been driving for years. But this is barely the surface. There are still diagnostic shortcuts, dealership-only modes, and dashboard functions that even experienced drivers have never seen. If you want part 2, comment "I didn't know this" right now. Because next time, we're going somewhere even your mechanic doesn't usually go.